Well, that was an absolute shower of shit, wasn't it, guys? It finishes Newcastle 1, Fulham 2 at St James's Park, and what the hell went wrong? We just did not look at it from the off today, it was fair to say. We huffed and puffed a little bit in the first half. Second half, we were absolutely dross. And I know we hit the bar twice, guys, with some sensational efforts from Tonali and Isak, but they're individual pieces of skill. It wasn't necessarily a great build-up to both. And you've got to look at it in more context. That Fulham 100% deserved to win that game today. They were 100% better than us. And you have to ask the question why. And I know, look, some players didn't turn up today. I thought Joe Linton was terrible. Giving the ball away so many times. And the worrying thing for Joe is it seems like he's getting very, very frustrated on the pitch. He's giving away very, very silly fouls. He's picking up yellow cards nearly every single game now. And it's kind of affecting his game. Because once he gets that yellow card, he's consistently walking a tightrope. But his passing was off today. You know, Tonali gave the ball away a few times as well. Bruno just didn't seem at it. It was very flat and lackluster. But why? That is the question I'm asking today, is why? Because fatigue cannot come into this. And if anyone mentions fatigue from Newcastle United staff, they want shooting. Because that is not fatigue today. We've had a week to build up to this game. And whatever game plan we had today just went out the window in the first 5 minutes. And I know we huffed and puffed and we took the lead in the game. I think Tonali's effort that hit the bar actually woke us up a little bit to try and do something. Because a minute later, we go and score. Great work from Anthony Gordon. Burst down the left-hand side, and a very composed finish from Jacob Murphy. And he's involved in yet another goal for Newcastle. But you always felt like Fulham were going to get level. Whatever happened in that dressing room at half-time, I have no idea. I literally have no idea what went on in that dressing room. Because we came out and we did not turn up for the second half. As bad as we were in the first half with the little huff and puff, we were dreadful second half. And Isak again with a moment of skill hitting the crossbar. There was a penalty shout. Was it a handball? I think in the end, I've seen it again. I think it was more of his chest, so I can understand why VAR didn't give the penalty. But then Jimenez's goal, you know, a little unfortunate, deflected off Murphy's heel. But to be honest, it was a terrible pass by Sandro Tonali. We lost the ball. And then they come up the other end of the pitch, playing a little bit of 1-2s all the way. And, you know, they deserved the goal because they played for that goal. They'd worked their asses off and worked more than we did. Livramento had a stinker today. An absolute stinker. You know, Billy said in the commentary early on in the game, it looked like he was running in mud because they were just beating him left, right and centre. Iwobi had a field day. And the defending for the Jimenez goal, I mean, it's just terrible. And then they go and get the winner. Money is a lovely little flick, actually, at the near post. No chance for Dubravka. But who's picking him up? You know, Muniz puts the ball in the net, and you see Fabian Schär and Isak look at each other, putting their arms out as if to say, well, I thought that was your man. These are the kind of things that are going to cost us long term. We keep saying it game after game, that Newcastle United just sometimes switch off for these brief seconds, and every time we are punished for it. We're punished because of just switching off. And these players don't seem to get it. When they switch off for that brief second, it costs us goals. But I'm taking nothing away from Fulham, by the way, who wanted this game more than us, who played really, really well today and deserved the 3 points. Because that's something we can't say that we deserved today was the 3 points. Right? We no way were we good enough to win that game. And you've got to ask questions, why? Where was some people mentioned in the Matchday Live chat, where was the fight today? You know, they just seemed to put their heads down. And it reminded me of games from the start of the season when we weren't playing too well. Now, at the start of the season, what was happening is sometimes we'd go out and not play very well, but we were still picking results up. But lately that's changing. The Wolves game at home was the change for me. We looked really rocky against Wolves. I know we won the game convincingly 3-0, but at the same time, Wolves could have scored 3 and should have scored 3. So that was a sign. And then, of course, Bournemouth hammer us. And then, we go to Southampton. And Southampton, for me, are the whipping boys in the Premier League. All right, we won that game, but Southampton, we gave them some opportunities as well. And then today, again, we just didn't seem like we were there. And Fulham were so committed and so hungry for the ball, they completely outplayed us. But the problem is, we don't have what we need on the bench to come and change a game. And, you know, whether you look at that for PSR reasons or whatever, we have a threadbare squad that if this keeps going on for the rest of the season, fatigue will come into it. And also injuries will come into it, suspensions. And we know beyond the first 11 and maybe one or two other players, we've got deadwood after that and players who aren't good enough to make a difference to this team. And if you're wanting Champions League football, that is not how you get it. And I know that there's a lot of restrictions on Newcastle United through PSR, but who's to blame for that? Is it previous people who've been at the club messing around with the finances, getting it wrong? We know that they had to do something urgent in the summer because it was all to pot. And now we're in the same situation again. And you can look at Mitchell. But what can Paul Mitchell do if he's restricted by PSR? He can target players and speak to players and get players in. But he can't if PSR dictates that. Eddie Howe. You know, I thought today, he would have expected more from that first 11 that went out there to play Fulham today. He wouldn't have expected so many people to have an off day again after recently having one against Bournemouth. But he put that down to fatigue, which he can't put that down to this time around. He simply can't. So as I record this video, I have no idea what Eddie Howe is saying. We'll tackle that more in the review tomorrow night. But when he looks at his bench, he's got no game changers. He brings on Kieran Trippier, who is a right back, to replace Livramento, who was dog rot today, running in treacle most of the game. So he needed changing. And then he brings on Willock for Joe Linton. Now, Joe Linton, for me, he's terribly off at the minute. I don't know what's going on. His frustrations keep kicking in. He's picking cards up left, right and centre. And, you know, he's getting frustrated too easily. And it's taken away from his game. But then he brings Joe Willock on, who has been absolute dog shit for months now. He's coming on as substitute, and he's just not making an impact. You know, you think if you're Joe Willock, you would want to come onto the field and try and make a difference. Try and do something to prick the manager's ears up and say, wow, you know, he's really making an effort to get his first team place. But he's not. He's doing absolutely nothing when he's on the pitch. He's anonymous. And then he waits till 5 minutes to go in the game. Then he brings on Asula, etc. The game's gone. You know, Lloyd Kelly's not going to change a game at left back. Bruno comes off for Miley. We've got no attacking intent. Asula, I mean, bless Asula, what's he supposed to do? You know, he's coming in on the right-hand side for Jacob Murphy. That's not the option. And Eddie Howe knows that because he said it in his press conference that he has nobody to replace Jacob Murphy on the right-hand side. It's simply screaming out that we have to do something. Now, can we not look at a loan deal maybe with a view to buying somebody? You know, we did it with Lewis Hall. Surely there's an option there to try and bring somebody else in on loan. Because we cannot go the rest of the season with the squad we've got. And I just hope that they're really not thinking, oh, Barnes is still to come back and we've got Callum Wilson to come back. Because if they're relying on Callum Wilson, they're insane. Absolutely insane. How can you rely on Callum Wilson? He may come back and score a couple of goals, but then you just know that you're going to get up one morning and go online and see a report that Wilson's been injured in training. He's pulled up in training. He's out for months again. And Harvey Barnes. Now, look, Harvey Barnes, I think, has got potential to be a really good player. But is he a game changer? I know he scored some really good goals for us, but when certain important games, he's done out. So, and he's still 3 or 4 weeks away. So we've got so many games in February that this starting 11 plus 2 or 3 are going to have to play the majority of the games. And they're against some very, very, very good opposition. So this is going to be a test for us through February. But I worry for the squad. I worry for the squad size. We're threadbare for quality. Threadbare. And you looked at that team today and you thought, who's going to come off the bench and make a difference? Because you look at Willock and I think Willock's not going to make a difference. He's been dog rot for so long now. He just seems to have taken a jump off a cliff. Asula, we know that Eddie doesn't put him on unless there's like 2 or 3 minutes left to go in a game. He's not going to be a game changer. And the rest of the players are more defensive. It's got to be a worry and you've got to talk about it. And this isn't an overreaction to losing 2-1 to Fulham. We're going to lose football games. But it's the fact that we can't change anything because we have such a lack of quality in the squad and it's threadbare. That's my biggest concern. Am I disappointed we didn't beat Fulham today? Absolutely. And I thought we were terrible. But you also have to look at the bigger picture in this. We haven't been good at home for a while now. You know, Wolves wasn't a good performance, even though we won. There was signs there. But the fact is, we need players. We need players. And it's all right saying, oh, wait till the summer, yes, and all of this. And I know PSR is restricting us, but if we don't get where certain players in this club want to be, i.e. the pinnacle of club football, the Champions League, this is where the likes of Bruno, Tonali, Isak, Botman, etc., they want to play there. And when they signed for this club, they were told that was the drive, that was the purpose, that was where we were going to be. And how do you think they're going to feel looking at the last 3 windows saying, well, we haven't recruited. We're not building for that, for the Champions League or anything like that. It's a worry, and it's a worry to me as a fan, and it should be to you guys out there as well. Where's the quality coming from? I just don't know. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. What did you think of the performance? What did you think of the manager? What do you think of the transfer window? What's going on? Do you worry like me about the rest of the season, having such a threadbare squad? I mean, look, it could go 2 ways. One way, somehow we all stay fit and we go on another win and run and we get to the Champions League. On the flip side of that, we get injury suspensions and we know the players to come in aren't good enough and we end up finishing 8th or 9th in the table. It really is just 50-50, isn't it? Because we don't know, because we're so threadbare. But let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching the video, guys. As usual, if you have enjoyed it, please give it the thumbs up. It really does help the channel in the search results on YouTube and all the algorithms and that kind of thing. And of course, if you're new and you like what you see, please do subscribe. It is free to do so. Come and be part of this incredible community we have on the Toon Review. And of course, if you will be back on Sunday night at 7 o'clock with the match review. We'll take a deep dive into the game and we'll give you our player ratings, etc. And we'll see how we go. And then, of course, we have our charity day on deadline day, 11 a.m. till 11 p.m, raising money for some fantastic charities. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Try and enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Take care.